If super nakeds feel like a bit too much, and you're after something more practical but still fast and fun, then these are the ones to watch. The 2025 Z900 SE, streettriple RS, and MT-09 SP. But which one truly deserves a spot in your garage? Horsepower-wise, the streettriple RS takes the crown, cranking out 130 horses. The Z900 comes in second with 124, and the MT-09 isn't far behind with 119 ponies. When it comes to torque, though, the tables turn. The Z leads with 97 Nm, the MT follows with 93 Nm, and the high-revving streettriple, tuned more for top-end performance, sits at the bottom with 80 Nm. But when it comes to weight, the streettriple fights back. It's the lightest of the three at just 188 kilograms wet. That's 6 kilos lighter than the MT and 26 kilos lighter than the Z. So, if we're talking power-to-weight ratio, with the most horsepower and the least weight, the Triumph easily comes out on top. Yamaha takes second, and Kawasaki takes the last place. Now let's dig a little deeper and see what's going on under the fairings. The Z900 runs in inline 4, while both the MT-09 and streettriple are powered by inline triples with a 240-degree even firing interval. And yep, even though Yamaha calls theirs a cross-plane engine, it's still just a regular inline triple like everyone else's. In terms of displacement, the Z has the biggest engine, followed by the MT, and then the streettriple. But Triumph makes up for the smaller capacity with a noticeably higher compression ratio, which helps it punch above its weight. All three bikes use a conventional double overhead cam setup with spring-actuated valves and 4 valves per cylinder. Power is sent to the rear wheel through a 6-speed transmission with a slip and assist clutch. Before we dive into electronics, let's take a moment to hear how they sound. Now, when it comes to electronics, they've all got the essentials covered. So you're getting cornering ABS, courtesy of the 6-axis IMU, plus ride-by-wire throttle, selectable ride modes, traction control, and bidirectional quick shifter as standard. But the MT does take things a step further. It packs in a few extra rider aids like engine brake control, back slip regulator, and even a keyless system. And unlike the others, it lets you adjust slide control and wheelie control separately, whereas on the others, that stuff's all tied into the traction control settings. You'll find full-color TFT displays on all three, but cruise control and smartphone connectivity with navigation come standard only on the MT and the Z, and are optional extras on the streettriple. Chassis-wise, the MT and streettriple both come with an aluminum perimeter frame, which helps keep the weight down. The Z, on the other hand, uses a steel trellis frame. Definitely one of the reasons it tips the scales a bit heavier than the others. Suspension-wise, they've all got fully adjustable upside-down forks up front. And since we're talking about the higher spec trims here, all three come equipped with upgraded Öhlins rear shocks. Braking-wise, it's Brembo all around. But the MT and streettriple take it a step further with Stylema calipers, which are a bit more premium and offer a sharper bite compared to the M4 on the Z. All three bikes run the same tire sizes front and rear. But when it comes to overall dimensions, the streettriple is the most compact. It's got the shortest wheelbase and the steepest rake angle, which combined with its lightweight, makes it the sharpest and most agile of the bunch. If you're not exactly towering, the MT is going to be the friendliest at a standstill. And when it comes to fuel capacity, the Z900's got the biggest tank, and interestingly, it also claims the best fuel economy, despite having the most cylinders and the largest displacement. So in theory, it should give you the longest range, but each manufacturer measures fuel economy a bit differently. So take those claims with a pinch of salt. As for pricing, it depends on where you are. In the US, the Z900 SE is the cheapest, while the Street Triple RS is the most expensive. Over in the UK, the Z is still the budget option, while the MT is actually the most expensive though. To be fair, there's not a massive gap between them. So in terms of power, the Street Triple makes the most horsepower, while the Z leads on torque. But since the Street Triple's also the lightest, it ends up with the best power-to-weight ratio. With that high-revving engine and strong top-end power, it's probably the one you'd pick for track days. Meanwhile, the MT delivers punchier low-end torque, which makes it a bit more practical for day-to-day riding. And the Z900, with its smooth power delivery, kind of lands right in the middle. It's the all-rounder of the group. Electronics-wise, the MT's got this one in the bag. It's packed with the most features and rider aids as standard, while the others either have limited adjustability or offer them as optional extras. As for chassis, both the Yamaha and the Triumph get an aluminum perimeter frame, while the Z sticks with a steel trellis. Suspension spec is pretty even across all three, with fully adjustable forks and Öhlins rear shocks. But when it comes to brakes, the MT and Street Triple step it up with Brembo Stylema calipers, whereas the Z gets the older M4 calipers. Fuel-wise, the Z900 wins this round. It's got the biggest tank and also claims the best fuel economy. So in theory, it should go the furthest between fill-ups. As for riding position, the MT is the most relaxed, super upright with high and wide bars. The Street Triple, on the other hand, has the most aggressive setup with a more forward-leaning stance, lower handlebars, and a sportier leg position, more knees bent and feet tucked up. The Z900 sits somewhere in between the two. And finally, price. The Z is the most wallet-friendly in both the US and the UK. It's consistently cheaper than the MT and the Street Triple, even if the differences aren't massive. So, which one would you pick? Let me know down in the comments. And if you enjoyed this one, hit like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one.